Hi guys, so here we are after reading the book of Matthew chapter 2, and we're here to review. So we just want to share with you guys what spoke to us, which verse spoke to us, and we hope that maybe you guys can also share your experience in the comments down below.
So what spoke to you in Matthew chapter 2?
For me, it was verse 10. So verse 10 talks about the wise men seeing the star that guided them to Jesus, and it just really stood out to me because it said that they rejoiced exceedingly with great joy.
So you have kind of like these double positives, right?
Yeah.
Matthew's trying to tell us how happy.
Yeah, like they were so excited. They rejoiced exceedingly with great joy. So it just puts into perspective that they had this great excitement to see Jesus. And so to me, it immediately translated into the Bible. The Bible is like the star, and the Bible really is what will guide us to Jesus. And we should be rejoicing exceedingly with great joy when we are going to read the Bible. And I know that's hard to to say, like, really you're gonna be super duper excited to read your Bible, but really we should. Oftentimes we want to choose our phones over reading the Bible. And I don't mean choosing your phone because you're going to read the Bible on your phone. Social media, movies, TV, everything, it kind of takes over our lives and it becomes priority. So we really should try to focus on the star, focus on the Bible that will guide us to Jesus. And oftentimes we don't have that joy, and if you don't have that joy, don't be afraid to talk to God about it. Ask God, pray, ask God to give you that joy, to give you that love, and God will give it to you. And the more you read the Bible,
and hopefully after these 30 days of reading through the book of Matthew, at the end that you're able to continue, not just stop in Matthew, but read Mark and then Luke and then John, and continue on your journey in knowing the story of Jesus.
Yeah, we're hoping that this will, help you appreciate certain verses, chapters, books. So what stood out to you?
For me, it was how God spoke to Joseph. So God speaks to Joseph in verse 14 and 21, and in both instances it deals with Joseph getting up and moving. And I just thought that was interesting because, like, how did Joseph know that was God's voice? But then I realized that Joseph was in a relationship with God, so he was able to know that it was actually coming from God. And I think
quick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I mean, it kind of goes into reading the Bible and talking to God. That's how we build our relationship with God.
And that's how we know if it's actually God's voice that's speaking to us. And I thought that was interesting because in those two verses, it says that Joseph arose. He just got up. Like, there was no questions. There was no questioning of the angel. And it's funny because we see Joseph questioning the angel when the angel comes to him and tells him about Mary being pregnant. And he's like, what do you mean Mary's pregnant? But here in this part of the story, Joseph is not even questioning. He's like, God tells Joseph to get up and go, and he just goes. And I think that's the way we should respond. And I think what made Joseph's job easier in his response is that the person who was with him. So who was with Joseph during that time?
Mary, his wife.
Who else?
The baby.
Who is the baby?
Jesus.
So because he had Jesus, he was able to respond. And when we have Jesus in our lives, we should respond the way that Joseph did. And we know that in the last days, we're going to have to do that same response to the voice of God. God's going to ask of us to do certain things or go certain places. There's a verse in Matthew chapter 24 where it talks about great persecution coming and the sign that it's going to appear, this abomination of desolation. And then it says, when you see that sign, flee to the mountains. And then it goes on to say that don't even go back to your house to get your things, just go. And it just kind of reminded me of that story of Joseph. Joseph just went.
Yeah, he just listened.
Yeah, and there was, and that's the way we should be when it comes to God.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully, as you're reading through the Bible, you're able to not just read it, but do the things that the Bible is saying. Apply those things to your lives, and the more you do those things, the closer you will connect to Jesus.
Yeah. And I wonder, what are those signs that chapter 24 talks about?
Well, you're going to have to wait to day 24 when we get there.
So hopefully you guys continue to join us in these readings. And that's it for today.
Well, hope to see you tomorrow.
God bless you guys.
Peace.